I think it was the guy from the two guys from 1140. I forget their names, but they were
Dave.
No, not Carmichael. I would remember that, but
Jason Ross.
Was it?
Oh, Nick Cattles.
Yeah, and his partner. I don't know.
I don't listen to that one ever.
But I caught a little bit of what they were saying, and they were talking to Davion Mitchell, and they were like, this is interesting because this is Monte McNair's team, and like we've mentioned that before, it's an obvious thing. And one of the things that you're seeing is it's not only is just like, is he getting like this kind of shooting oriented team that can move the ball and run the floor and maybe even have the tools to put together a good or a solid, or at least I guess you would say a better team defense overall. But the big factor is that with the changes that he's made and just the draft picks that he's been able to make, it's just like this team is oriented towards guys that, especially, as James Ham has made note of, guys between that 24 to 26 age, like Fox and Herter and Monk and all these guys. I think Sabonis is 26. It's these guys that are not just young still, but they're about to step into their prime. They're about to step into their late 20s. Like that is that moment where hopefully, and this is what Kevin Herter said at a media day, was that you're hoping that you can kind of get into that prime, and like you add that to the fact that all these guys want to win too. It's just it can become a perfect recipe, and that's such a conscious decision by McNair. And I know he made note of that in it might have been the press conference for Monk and Herter, but like some of these subtleties, I don't know if it's not the name on the Twitter account anymore, but I think it was for a long time in McNair We Trust. And I think that this is, at least going into it, this is definitely one of those things where this deserves a lot of credit, I think. Of course, results will play out, but, what do you think?
I mean, like you said, the name of the Twitter was in McNair We Trust. And I've been telling everyone, just trust McNair. You can just tell, even after like that Halliburton draft, and then especially after the Davion Mitchell draft, it's just like, okay, like granted, he didn't make a lot of like big like free agency moves or really even any trades into that Sabonis trade. And yeah, it's a little hard to jump on the McNair bandwagon, but it's just like, he didn't do anything wrong. He made the right picks, made the right moves. He didn't make any bad trades. He didn't, sign any bad contracts or anything. So, I knew it was just a matter of time. And, and he didn't rush it either. Like, of course, everyone wants stuff rushed. And that was, the issue going back with Vivek. He wanted to win now. And that, that just kept setting us back every time. So, I mean, it'll be McNair's third year. We've waited patiently. And I honestly, we might need one more year until we really see the Kings' full potential. But I mean, the team he was given and then looking at the team right now, it's night and day. And it's awesome to see. He's just going to continue just to make the right moves. And I mean, he's going to get extended. There's no way he doesn't. Even if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, there's no way this guy doesn't get extended. I don't know if there's been any more talk surrounding that. I haven't heard anything, but McNair's the guy.
He wouldn't comment on his contract status at media day. He wouldn't comment on it.
Which is, I don't know. Like, what are you waiting for, Vivek? Like, you're not going to get a better guy than this at the moment. He's just very smart, very calm-headed. He's just, like I said, he's like Trey Lyles out on the floor. Just makes the right move every time.
We can talk about Trey Lyles in a second, but just to kind of piggyback, I mean, I guess just to kind of close up on this kind of McNair, this being McNair's team and whatnot. First of all, there had to have been some period with him taking over Vlade Divac, which was basically, a combination of Vlade Divac and, Vivek Ranadive, essentially, and all sorts of hands on the wheel type things. There had to be a period for McNair to be able to kind of untangle the cords. I know everybody's got AirPods these days, but you know what I mean. I think that's an expression that still makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And, finally, I guess you could say he waited for his pitch or not. Maybe he felt pressure or whatnot. I don't know. But he made some pretty good moves, and it's definitely going to be interesting. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting. And I think you're right to say something that it's like nobody should definitely have their hopes up that the Kings are going to make the playoffs. The chances that the Kings are one of the top 6 seeds that have that secured playoff spot is very, very low. I mean, that's very difficult. You're talking about superseding very good teams with very, very good players. And that's just tough. But can the Kings be one of the play-in teams? Yeah, I mean there's a very realistic chance of that. Like you should definitely, and then you can become a playoff team that way. But you got to make the play-in first. I mean, there's definitely like legitimate reasons to think that can happen. But like you said, you might need an extra year. And we're talking about guys that are 24 to 26. One more year closer to their prime or further into their prime. I mean, that can be 1 year sounds like, oh man, I don't want a year. Wait a year, man. That's 12 months. I don't want to wait that. But it's like they could come back and be so much better. Like the improvement could be ridiculous. It could be insane. And that's just something to keep in mind. And I think you could probably expect, given the talent of these guys, a way better season this year. And then going forward, I think you can expect some form of success that you haven't seen in a long time in the next, 2 to 3 years. And I think that really has to do with the way McNair set it up. And I think people can see what he's doing, and it's smart and it's methodical, maybe a little conservative, at least at first. But once he swung for the fences, things are in position.